Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Or this is Everybody Has a Story to Tell with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. So as you guys can see, the scenery has changed a little bit. Not even doing it work yet, but I called out because one of my favorite beings is not doing too well. And that would be my hero, who I adopted about 13 years ago, and they told me that she was about 2 years old. And each time I would take her to the vet, they would tell me, yeah, I think she's older than that. I think she's older than that. Well, I think she's at least 15 years old. And she's having a rough time right now. I don't know. Hero and I had a deal about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when she had to get her spleen removed, and the vet was like, yeah, I would just spoil the hell out of her and let her have a great weekend, and we can make an appointment for Monday. When I was in there with the vet and we were talking about everything, Hero was really quiet until the vet started talking about putting her down. And then Hero got really boisterous, like, and just starting to talk because she's got a little bit of beagle in her. And I don't know what else. But she's got some beagle in her, and she's very opinionated. So she was talking. That was the only time she talked that day. He was going over everything with me, the vet, and as soon as he mentioned, putting her down, she got boisterous, and I kept talking to the vet, and she got louder. This is the truth. Hand to God, this is the truth. And she got louder, and I looked down at her, and she looked up at me, and I said, apparently, she doesn't want that, so we're going to go ahead for that surgery. Now, that was a 13-year-old dog at least that I was paying to get her spleen removed. People were looking at me like I was nuts. Would she make it through the surgery? I had no doubt Hero was going to make it through the surgery. No doubt in my mind. Because she and I made a deal. The problem with that deal is that I said to her, just, Hero, I'm going to do this, so I'm going to ask you to give me a couple more years. You give me at least a couple more years. A couple more years is this month. It was April of 2021 or 2022. I'd have to look. It's actually written on, I have, I'll put it up. It's on my refrigerator. It's her heartbeat that they took during her surgery 2 years ago. And yeah, so that's a tattoo that I want to get at some point in time, and I was really proud of her because they started calling her a miracle dog after she made it through that surgery, and I didn't have any doubt about it. I knew she was going to make it through that surgery because I knew she wanted to live, and I knew she was communicating that to me that day in the hospital. Or not the hospital, but in the vet's office. I knew. And I didn't have any worries really about the spleen having cancerous growths. I didn't. I had so much faith in Hero. And of course I have faith in God. But I had so much faith in Hero. As soon as she let me know she wasn't ready to go, being boisterous like that in the doctor's office, I'm petting her. She's laying here. She's having a hard time. A hard time. If she was in real distress, I would take her to the vet, the emergency vet. They've been there before. I rush them to the vet. My concern is that she's resting here, right? This I only noticed this when I woke up at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I was supposed to pick up a friend tonight and bring them to work. They needed a ride, but I can't leave my dog. I'm calling out. I'm not gonna. I didn't want to put Hero in the car and stress her out. So I I told my friend I'm sorry. I can't, So she'll have to figure something else out. I'm not leaving Hero. So anyway, when I woke up at 7:30, I got out of bed, and the first thing I do is I go to let them out. So of course Milo is with me, and I assume Hero's not far behind because that's what she does. And then when I looked, I couldn't find her, and then I saw that she was like not struggling per se, but she just wasn't as quick. She wasn't as quick as she usually is. And when I opened up the door, I saw that she didn't really have an interest in going outside, or at least the exercise of it, which was weird because Hero usually. So, anyway, she did get down the four stairs from, you know, she did get down the four stairs to go outside. But I said to myself, she ain't getting up those steps. I know that. So I came inside and put some shoes on. And yeah, she was kind of standing by the fence. I saw that she had peed. And she was standing by the fence. So I scooped her up. And, she's probably about 35. I think she was 39 pounds last time. The heaviest she's ever been. And I scooped her up and I brought her inside, and she just was very slow on the walking and stuff. Just very slow. And I have cameras around the house, so I looked and I saw that she had thrown up, that she had gotten sick and thrown up. So I'm praying she just has a little bug or something, and she's just not feeling so good today. So my thing is that, I don't want to take her to the emergency vet because, what are they going to do? Monitor her all night? Well, I could monitor her and pet her and not put her in a fucking cage. So she's laying next to me in one of those fuzzy ass dog beds that my mom bought her, that never got here. So I bought two off the TikTok shops, one for her and one for Milo. Of course, he's laying in the pink one, she's laying in the black one. They have their gender issues too, I guess. And but I wanted to tell you a story about my girl Hero. All right? So, my girl Hero, I got her 13 years ago. Yeah, because I had a boxer named Miles who lost his sister named Angie, and he needed a dog. I know. So after getting a dog that wasn't a good fit, I went to go get a dog, um, and it was at a rescue. Hero's a rescue, and I hear Milo. And Hero's a rescue dog. So she looked terrible when I saw her the first time. I didn't want her. I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. I did not want this dog. She was smaller than I wanted anyway, but her teats were out. It looked literally like she just gave birth. She was dirty. She was not an attractive dog, and I didn't want her. I did not want her. And so because I felt like they weren't going to let me leave, there wasn't any other dogs. They had this dog smiling at me. I'll put a picture of how Hero smiles. And I said, all right, I'll take her. So my plan was, and I'm just being honest, I mean, I hate that saying sometimes because it kind of gives you the right to hurt people's feelings and shit, and you just got to be careful. Just because you're honest, sometimes you should just keep stum. But I've told her before. So, to be honest, I said I had some money at the time, and I said, I'm going to take this dog because these people want me to take this dog, but I'm only going to keep her for the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get her to the vet. I'm going to get her on everything she needs, give her a bath and all that stuff. And she's going back on Monday because I don't want this dog. So I go and I take her to the vet, and she gets, remember that story? Her eyes popped open. And her, and they do the tests and everything. And they come running out of the office into the waiting room, and they're like, "You can't give her heartworm medicine. Don't give her heartworm medicine." Because I had said, give me all that stuff, and I was going to send it back. The place that I got her from did not know that the plan was for me just to keep her for the weekend, do some stuff. So I think I got her again on a Thursday, took her to the vet on a Friday. I might have taken her to the vet immediately, to be honest with you, because I tend not to bring dogs home unless I've had them checked out. Especially I have another dog and I had cats at the time. So anyway, they come running out. She has heartworm. So what? And they tell me she has heartworm. And again, I had some money at the time, and that's expensive. That's expensive. So I said to myself, all right, well, what? I'm not going to let the dog die, So I said, okay, let's treat her for the heartworm. I was unaware how they treated for the heartworm back then, okay? Because mind you, this was 13 years ago. Anyway, so they have to keep her for that, or they had to keep her for that back then. Again, didn't know how they treated heartworm. It's different now. Anyway, so I I said, okay. So I leave her there. I'm not attached to this dog. I want to give her back. She looks horrible. My poor girl. And I'm pretty sure I met her puppies, even though they said those aren't her puppies. Why would she be in with other puppies? Especially her teats are out. I feel like she not. Yeah, and this was a rescue place. This was an animal rescue. You know, I think, to be honest with you, looking back, I think they knew Hero had heartworm. Her name wasn't Hero. Her name was Faith. That's something that should have said something too, and I kept it as her middle name. But yeah. And they really pushed this dog on me. They pushed this dog on me. I really felt like I had money I couldn't leave. Like it was not the right thing to do. If I didn't have money, I would have honestly said this isn't the dog. There was a $250 fee to get her, but if I didn't have the money, I wouldn't have been in there rescuing a dog, to be honest with you, because you have to have money. I mean, I'm not, you have to have a little bit of something that, God forbid, something happens with them. You have to help them. I mean, they're not going to pay for it. The dogs or the cats, whatever. So when you adopt, I totally believe that you really have to have something that if they get sick, you're able to afford their care. So anyway, but I had a little bit more than that. I was okay financially. So I went ahead and I took her, and they came running out, and I left her at the vet's. And I told Miles, I'm sorry I got you a sister, but you can't play with her. I'm not even too sure we're going to keep her. And again, I wasn't going to keep her. So I called to check on her with the heartworm. And I said, maybe I should. And they said, oh, she's doing it. And I said, well, maybe I should come by and just check on her because I'm really the only familiar face. And at this point, I really I wasn't going to keep Faith. I wasn't going to keep her. And so they said, oh no, you can't come and see this. This is horrible. You don't want to see this. And I went, what? And they said, the only way to get rid of the heartworm is with insecticide. And so the treatment at the time was very painful for the dogs. Very painful for the dogs. They wouldn't let me. When they told me that, I said, that's my dog. I said, this dog's fighting, and I'm not gonna not give her a home. She's fighting for her life. I want to give her a good life. I'm not gonna give her a shit life if she's fighting for her life. I just wasn't gonna do that. So from that moment, I said, I've got her. So she went through the heartworm, and they said to me, the treatment, and they said to me, listen, you can't let her run around and stuff. Now I got her for Miles, right? And Miles is a boxer and he wants to fucking play. And anyway, so I said, Miles, you can't play with her yet. And unfortunately, I had to keep putting Hero in the crate because she did want to play. Now, how did Hero get her name? So I'm going to tell you, because I know you guys are like, how'd you go from Faith to Hero? So, woo! All right, so there is an actress that I like. Her name is Hermione Norris. Now, all of the UK subscribers know who she is because she's been around for a while. And I love her. I think she's a brilliant actress. She's been in heart-wrenching dramas, and she's been in teary-eyed romantic comedy things, and she's just been in funny shit. And so excuse me, in Cold Feet, I mean, come on. So I like Hermione Norris, and I actually went and saw her in Broadway on I don't know what, the West End. In She was in, what was that? Blythe Danner's. Oh God, what? And she was in it with the same guy she was in Cold Feet with. And I met her in the back, and she gave me an autograph. And I was really nervous, believe it or not. I really was. I was nervous. I think I scared her because I was like, "Can I get an autograph?" And I didn't think she heard me. So, and I'm American. I don't, there is a difference. So I said, "Can I have an autograph, please?" And I said please the first time. And she said, "Yeah, give me a minute." And with her accent, I was like, "Oh, I didn't know," because I didn't know that she heard me. Anyway, she was fine. I took a picture of her, and I might have taken a picture of me with her. This is a long time ago that I saw her. You'd have to see where, what's that? That was the movie Noel's Spirit or something. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. As I sit here, I pet my dog. Anyway, guys, let me get back to Hero. So, Hermione Norris has a daughter that she named Hero. And she explained that she named her Hero, that she had first heard the name. It was Shakespearean, right? Much ado about nada. Much ado about nothing. And that's true. And apparently Hermione Norris, when she was learning how to act, when she was taking acting classes, there was a woman that was running the theater with long silver hair, very stoic, and her name was Hero. And it's from that Hero that she named her daughter Hero. And I thought, wow, that's a really cool name. And that was before my girl here, Hero. So what happened was, obviously, her name wasn't Faith. Hero came from one of the Carolinas, from my understanding. There was a storm, and they rounded up a bunch of dogs. So the chances that they knew her name was Faith, I'm not buying it. She didn't answer to the Faith. They won. To me, I look back, and somebody loved her inside of that rescue. And they couldn't take her, and they wanted the best for her. And they believed in her, and they called her Faith. Just have faith. That's the way that I see it in my head, and I picture it. I don't know how it really happened, but that wasn't her name. She didn't answer to Faith. So it makes me believe that they named her that. And I bet you they named her that because they probably knew she had heartworm, and she had just given birth, and she was a mess, and you need a lot of faith for somebody to get her. Or a sucker. I tell Hero, she was the best decision I never made. She's always known better than me. She wears the pants in the family, mine included. That's what this dog is. So anyway, of course, because you can't, she's got to come to something. Most of the time, you would say to any dog, here, here, come here, here. So the word here, I would think she would know, right? So I wanted to call her Danny at first, Dhani, like Danny Harrison, George Harrison's son. But now I understand it's pronounced Donnie. Anyway, I like the name Danny, and I love it for a girl. So, but she didn't answer to that very well. But as soon as I said hero, as soon as I hit the here, she turned and looked at me, and I said, "That's it, hero. That's it." And she didn't have to learn her name because she had already known the word here. So, hero it was. My dad, he's dead now. My dad passed in 2021 from COVID. He, was older, obviously, and not as quick as he used to be. And he said to me, Hero's a masculine name. Why don't you name her, Heroine? And I said, well, think about that. I said, think about that, Dad. I don't think this video is going to go up now because I said that word. But, anyway, so I got her, and finally she needed two separate treatments of the heartworm, of that procedure. And the second time I took her in for it, I just it was heartbreaking, but it will kill your dog, you know. And I wanted her to have the best chance. She was ours now. Anyway, so she got that same thing. 2 weeks, can't jump, can't run around. Miles is looking at me like, "What the fuck did you get her for? If I, I mean, if I can't play with her, what's the point, Mom?" So I said, "Just be patient, be patient." So after that, about a month later, okay, she gets to play for maybe a week. About a month later, I want to get her fixed. Obviously, I want to get her fixed. So, again, this poor dog can't play. Miles is looking at me like I don't get it. But then finally, 3 months after I got her, she was able to be the dog she was supposed to be. Very needy. She was the best decision I never made. She was Miles' sister until my son Miles, my puppy Miles, who was 11 and a half. No, yeah, about 11 in 4 months. He had degenerative myelopathy. That's a tough one. Hero helped me with that. When Miles passed, me and Hero went to Niagara Falls because I wanted to move. I didn't want to live in the same house that Miles lived in. It was very strange. I was very close with Miles. I also had a neighbor that was like in my ear saying negative shit. And I guess at that time, I let somebody walk all over my boundaries and they just messed with my head. And, but I ended up moving. And, but Hero and I went to Niagara Falls, and we didn't move, thankfully, where we went to go look because I don't think I would have liked it there. So Hero helped me through that, and she's just been something else ever since. I've had her for over 13 years. She's very opinionated, just like me. But she wins. She wins. And so she's having a rough time, and I don't know how old she actually is. But I wouldn't think that I would have a lot more time with her. But I don't know. I just know that 2 years ago, I asked her to hang on for another 2 years. And that's this month.